This is my 2018 Mazda 6 2.5 liter turbo. I need to change the spark plugs. With the turbo engine, they recommend every 40,000 miles new spark plugs. I'm at 52,000, so overdue. No issues with the engine as far as I can tell, but I'll go ahead and take care of this. Not a whole lot of videos on how to do this for the turbo. Naturally aspirated, it's pretty easy. Turbo, it's got this, I don't know, rigmarole going on up here. So you can see here, you can access that coil pack, but the others, pretty hard to get to. So we got to get this up out of the way a little bit. And I think I'm going to, I haven't done this before, but I think I'm going to have to remove 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and there's one more. Oh, this down in here, 5. I think I got to remove those 5 nuts, 8 and 10 millimeter bolts, and then this bracket will come up. I may need to pull this guy off, which could be problematic. I don't know. Anyway, just get this bracket up and out of the way a little bit so that we can reach those coil pack bolts and get the coil packs up and out of there. I will also need to, of course, remove these connectors. But the first thing I'm going to do is get this bracket out of the way. May need to disconnect this. I don't know. It's attached to that bracket, so I think I've got enough wiggle room there. So that's my plan. I think I've got all the tools I need here. 8 and 10 wrench and socket. This is imperfect. This is a 9/16 deep well socket. I have a 5/8 magnetic spark plug socket, but I don't have a 9/16 spark plug socket or 14 millimeters, so I'll have to make do with that. And I've got anti-seize, a couple of extensions, and a wobble. And then of course the spark plugs, which I got from Rock Auto, feel pretty good that they're the right ones. I mean, I'm sure the part number that it shows is correct, but. Okay, so this guy here is a 10 millimeter, and I've got 4/8 to get out. 1, 2, 3, and where'd the other one go? Oh, back here, 4. This is the 4th one. I pointed this one earlier, that's for the coil pack. So to get this bracket off, I got 110, that's out, 4/8, and they're easy to get off, not tightened down too hard. Here's the 5 bolts out. You can see the 10 and 4/8, and the 8s are all the same size, so no need to worry about which goes in where. They're all the same. All right, I'm mistaken. There's one more to get out. It is, where'd it go? Here. I gotta get that one out too. That one's also an 8. Just because it's hard to get your fingers in there, I'm taking it out with the socket. Okay, so I actually have 5 8 millimeter bolts to get out, 1 10 millimeter 8 bolt to get out. Now you can see this bracket moves around pretty well. And will I need to take this hose with the pink dot off? Probably, to get in there. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so next thing, I got to get these connectors off. A good way to do that is to, with one finger, press down on this, you know, there's a little release mechanism under there, and then with the other, stick that little screwdriver in there and just pry it back a little bit. Let's see if I can do this one hand with camera. Not really. Yeah. There we go, I think. Well, anyway, I'm gonna press this release with my finger. I'm gonna stick my screwdriver down in there and just carefully pull it back. That's what I did with this one over here. All right, so I got all these connectors off by doing what talked about there. I don't know if I want to do that one or not. I probably don't need to. I have not disconnected the battery. I don't think that's necessary here. Okay, so I did go ahead and disconnect this harness, and I did that by sticking my screwdriver in this way and prying up the connector in there, and also pushing down, levering that little piece the other way, and just pulling it apart. It was mounted on this little mount here. You can see it'll just go back on when we reconnect it. I am not going to pull this off because I'm not confident. It's, not surprisingly, it's on there pretty tight, and I just feel like I'm going to do more damage if I do try to take it off, and I'm not confident in getting it back on super tight. I haven't seen any instruction on how to do that, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I could probably manage to get that last spark plug in there. Wish me luck. So the next thing I'm going to do, take off the coil packs, and I'll probably do this one, start with this one, do the whole, take the 8mm bolt out, hold on to it, pull up the coil pack, take the existing plug out, and put the new plug in. I'll probably just go one at a time. And that way, if that fourth one is really a pain in the butt, I'll have 3 new ones, and I can come back to that fourth one and solve that problem later. Here's my 8mm bolt that came out of the coil pack there. Now I'm going to pull that pack. Here's my number 1 coil pack. I assume that's the number 1 cylinder over there. I don't know. Anyway, it came out very easily. Looks normal. Probably not going to be able to see down. Oh, it's not too bad. Anyway, it's clean down in there, but I should have wiped off around the spark plug hole before I pulled the pack. But so you can see I've got a little bit of dirt and stuff. But anyway, it's clean down in there. No oil or anything, so I feel good about that. Okay, so I used my extra long extension just because it just reduced any risk of me whacking any of these electronics. The spark plug itself is 9/16, and so I used this deep socket 9/16 to loosen the plug. Of course, it doesn't come out very easily, so I went ahead and used my 5/8 magnetic spark plug socket to magnetically grab it, yank it out. This is what it looks like. This has 52,000 miles on it. So I guess it's ready to go. Pulling it out, or unscrewing it, I should say, I've unscrewed other spark plugs more easily. A little bit of squeaking, a little bit of binding, a little bit, but I don't think it was cross-threaded or anything like that. It doesn't bother me. This is OE, so I certainly hope it wasn't cross-threaded. That'd be a minor disaster. But I did put, you might see here, I did put some anti-seize lubricant. That looks like a whole lot. It's actually not as much as it looks probably. Maybe I'll take a little bit off, but just to make sure it comes out next time. That was recommended to me by my expert brother. Okay, so I've got it threaded in there. Now I'm just putting it in by hand. Everything feels good, not binding or anything. Super smooth. All right, so I've got it in there by hand, and I'm just going to tighten it down, right, with the ratchet. I'm not going to torque it. I probably should, but I don't know the spec. My torque wrench is a 1/2 inch. Blah blah blah. So I'm just going to tighten it tight by hand. Not going to overdo it, of course. A lot of aluminum going on here. Just tight. Okay, that feels good to me. All right, so I got a new spark plug in. Now I need to take my boot, put it down in there, attach it with the 8mm bolt, and reconnect the connector. And I'll be done with that cylinder. Okay, cylinder 1 done, bolts on, connector clipped in real nice, and that was simple. Okay, now for a little bit of harder ones, I'm gonna have to get under here, probably use a wobble or something, or low profile, I don't know, or just my box wrench. Get that 8 off. Let's go ahead and clean that up first, and then we'll just do the same thing I did for the first cylinder. All right, so number 2, I've got I got the new spark plug down in there. I'm gonna use my socket, tighten it up. Cylinder 3 done. This one's just a little hard to get to. You know, you just basically gotta do it mostly with your fingers, and then with a box wrench. Even my 1/4 inch ratchet with 8mm was too tall, so that's mostly get your fingers under there and then use a box wrench to tighten it up. Otherwise, the coil pack is easy to get off and on, and same process I've done for the others, including the anti-seize. So now we move to the 4th one, which might be more difficult. Okay, gang, I got that 4th one out. Getting the bolt off, no big deal. Just, you know, use your tools, an extension, and your fingers, and then getting this coil out was really no problem. Just pull it, turn it, and bend it a little bit. So good there. All right, so I'm getting ready to loosen this plug, and you can see my extensions in there against that hose a little bit, but otherwise it's in there just fine. So I'm not worried about that hose quite yet. All right, I got that 4th one in there. The only thing I would suggest is use your thumb to push this hose out of the way a little bit as you get the spark plug threaded and go down in there. It just lets you keep that extension a little bit more vertical and everything just aligned real well. Otherwise it's a little, just doesn't feel quite right. So just give that hose a little, you know, 1/2 inch push out of the way to keep everything lined up. Okay, so I got the 4th coil pack on, not bolted down yet, but here's my suggestion. Loosen that, because that lets this whole bracket move up, and that extra 3/4 of an inch plus yanking on this just helps get everything aligned. Also, I suggest doing this one first, not last, because I just got frustrated for a moment and had to walk away. So do this one first, get it out of the way, and everything else will be a lot easier. So this is also, anyway, this is an 8mm, same bolt as all the others. Oh, incidentally, I found out this one, you don't need, I took this out at the beginning of the video. You do not need to do that. It just holds this bracket, which holds the heat shield or something like that. So this doesn't hold any of this, guys. It doesn't hold that down at all. So you can leave that one loosen, but I wouldn't remove that one because it's just covered up, and all you need to do is loosen it 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. If you take it out, you might drop it. Just leave it. Okay, I got 4 new plugs. Coil pack's back on, bolted in, bolted on. Connectors reconnected. This one I need to reconnect. And then I will put my bolts back in, tighten everything up by hand. I think I'll be done. All right, so reinstalling, here's the 10 and the 8. Here's another 8. Remember that one is maybe good to loosen, but you don't need to remove it. This one goes back in. This one goes back in. You got to move that hose around just a little bit with your fingers to get that threaded. This guy, remember I loosened that. It's still somewhat loose. I need to tighten it too. So there were, I forget now, 4, 5, 8 millimeters that need to go back in, and a couple that you would keep, you'd loosen up to give you some wiggle room. So I'm gonna make sure everything's tight. All right, let's see what happens. Need gas, but it seems to work just fine. Sounds pretty normal. Here's the tools I used. Anti-seize, 10, 8, an 8-inch box, small flathead screwdriver, my 5/8 magnetic socket wrench, my 9/16 deep socket. It'd be better if you had a 9/16 socket. 9/16 spark plug socket. This little turn wheel, ratchet wrench extension, and another extension. That's pretty much all I needed, and a couple of containers to keep the bolts. Last thing, everyone, here's the plugs that came out. This is from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty interesting. I've never seen, I'm no spark plug expert. I've never seen that kind of wear, or whatever you want to call that, burn marks before. So yeah, I'd say it probably makes sense to replace these every 40,000 miles. Pretty cheap and easy fix to maintain a turbo engine. Anyway, that's the end of this repair. I think I was successful, and I hope it helped. Good luck to you. Bye.